how was the family reaction after you published one book?
Even then, they were not happy. Yeah, because Urdu publishing is, it is not profitable. It is basically you are into writing in regional Indian languages, be it Marathi, Hindi, Konkani. It's because you are seriously in love with it. किताब का future writer तय नहीं कर सकता. But sometimes book can decide the future of author. It's more powerful than the author itself. The greatest betrayal is the betrayal of Iblis to the God, to the Allah. So now Allah and Iblis and their relationship, we have always understood it from the point of view of Allah. If you understand it from the perspective of Bible, so even the perspective of Bible or Quran or Torah, that is the perspective of God, and we have no perspective of Iblis. He has not told his story, his side of a story. So in this novel, I have brought the perspective of Iblis. Writer जो होता है, मेरा बहुत ही simple की understanding है. Writer has no nationality. Writer has no religion.
Okay.
And writer has no language. You are born in a language. You're born in a family which has a religion. You're born in a country. You have to respect your country, your faith system, your language, but you are not confined to it. You are a global citizen.
Hello and welcome everyone. This is Vivek Naik and you are watching Readers Official, a place where authors from around the world speak beyond pages. Before I go ahead and introduce my today's guest, I request all my viewers and listeners to please subscribe to this channel because that motivates me to bring the best-selling authors and create a worldwide community of authors and readers. Let me introduce my today's guest. He is an acclaimed Urdu novelist with more than 10 books published, namely Nakhlistan Ki Talash, एक ममनुआ मोहब्बत की कहानी, खुदा के साये में आँख में चोली, Nixdaan, Rohzin, and the recently published Kamakhya. And the interesting part is, all his books are published also and translated also in English, Hindi, German, and French as well. He is a Sahitya Akademi Award winner. He has also received lit prom grant from Swiss and German government. And his writings will challenge your understanding on life, on freedom, on religion, and everything that you think about. Let me welcome Mr. Rahman Abbas.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming to the show, sir. It's a pleasure to have you.
My pleasure.
Mr. Rahman, your books and your journey altogether, I would like to know more about it. How was it that you started from the childhood? And when was it that your first book was published? Just help us with your journey altogether, sir.
Well, I was born in Konkan, in Ratnagiri district. But when I was 4 years old, we shifted to Bombay as my father was working in Bombay. So I grew up in Mumbai slums at the initial stage, and I was going to Mumbai Municipal School. Luckily, nearby my locality where we were living in Andheri West, there was Sarkari school, and I was admitted by my father to that school. So at that time, I realized that I had some interest to read literature. Outside my school, there were small bookshops, and at that time, in late 70s, they were selling story books in 2 rupees, 1 rupees. So whatever money I was getting from my parents, I used to purchase those books. So I remember when I finished my matriculation and 12th standard, I was into reading basically. I am still a reader. And when I was in graduation, I started that, okay, if I have read Premchand and other writers, I can also write. So I started writing in my post-graduation level.
Okay.
And my first novel was published in 2004, which was Nakhlistan Ki Talash.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So this interest for learning was since childhood is what you are saying?
Oh yeah, when I was going to first and second and third standard, I do remember very strongly I was reading short stories.
And when you were thinking of writing a book for yourself, what was going in your mind? What made you think that, okay, let me now write a book?
Yeah. No, when you go to literature student in your college days, I was doing my master's in Urdu literature, my graduation in Urdu literature. So at that time, I come across serious literature. So
Okay.
the reading habit, which was inculcated in childhood, it took me to read the serious literature, the pure fiction.
Okay.
So after reading Premchand, Krishna Chandra, Sadhata Sanmanto, Ismat Chughtai, Qurratullain Haider, Intizar Hussain, Ghulam Abbas, Nayyar Masood, all eminent Indian authors, then I realized how literature is different than the literature definitely I was reading as a kid. So yes, after reading serious fiction, first I read a lot for last 7 to 8 years during my graduation and post-graduation period. And after that, I decided that, okay, I can write fiction.
What was your family's opinion when you were reading so lot?
My mother was unhappy. I mean, she was thinking I might destroy my career because all the time, even at home, I was reading books, mostly fiction. And my mother was uh, expecting me to do something that will make me easy to earn money
Okay.
or to get good jobs in Bombay. But she realized that this boy was just ruining his life by all the time reading books. So one fine day, she even scolded me that why you are reading all the time and you are not doing anything. You'll see your brothers, they are earning, your sister is working, and you don't work, you just read. So
How will you settle later on?
what will you do basically?
True.
So she was worried and she was so she was frustrated, I think.
But then how was the family reaction after you published one book?
Uh, Even then, they were not happy. Yeah, because I mean, Urdu publishing it is not profitable. It is basically you are into writing in regional Indian languages, be it Marathi, Hindi, Konkani. It's because you are seriously in love with it. So this is जब आप मोहब्बत करते हैं तो आप ये नहीं सोचते हैं कि क्या होगा. Similarly, when you are writing literature, especially fiction in Indian context, you are not dreaming anything to get. So at that moment, yes, they were not happy, but they were happy because I was settled. I was teaching in a college, junior college of education. I had done my education degree, and I had got good job. So that may be one reason she was happy, and then she was not. It was not her concern what I am reading anymore because I was earning then. I had
No.
started to earn.
True. You know, in your books, which I have gone through, you describe Bombay
Yeah.
in a very intimate and a sensitive way.
Yeah.
Like how Graham Greene, he describes Vietnam and London, or Henry Miller, he describes, Paris for that matter. What is this connection with Bombay?
It's pure love. I mean, even in Nakhlistan Ki Talash, I think when this novel has started journey, the protagonist said, "I cannot love any other city, or I cannot live in any other city." So there is something from my heart. I think I love this city. I know the beauty of this city. The ugliness of this city is also beautiful for me. My eyes cannot see Bombay in different way. My eyes only know how to love Bombay. So since my childhood, I have loved this city, and I have been into many European cities, and in cities in Middle East. But the way I see myself free, comfortable, easygoing in Bombay, or the way I feel the Bombay has nurtured me, and not only me, Sadhata Sarmanto, Premchand, Salman Rushdie, many writers from different Indian languages, Balchand Nimade from Marathi. So you realize that okay, this city is one of the greatest city I remember Milan Kundera has said in one of his writing about Prague that, or I think Kafka has referred to Prague, but in my eyes, Bombay is the most mysterious city in the world, and no other writers I have seen. I mean, those who have written about Bombay, like Rohinton Mistry, you cannot grasp the reality of Bombay in one book. Bombay is so magnanimous, so inanimous. सो बॉम्बे को आप जितना समझने की कोशिश करेंगे इट्स ऑलवेज हाफ एफर्ट टू अंडरस्टैंड बॉम्बे. कोई एक राइटर कमिंग फ्रॉम नो मैटर विच लैंग्वेज, बॉम्बे इज सो मैग्नानिमस दैट दे कैनॉट bring complete Bombay in the writing. So all my novels, 8 novels of mine, they are just an effort to understand that great city.
Sir, your books, if we talk about your books revolve around themes which are very different, like extremism, like love, like religion for that matter. Even topics which majority of the authors you're not comfortable talking about or writing about as well. What drives you to write about all these themes? What is that drive in you?
It's very simple. When you read Premchand in Sadhata Manto, and you are coming from Indian background, Hindustani culture, Tehzeeb, Indian civilization, and you understand what is your civilizational role, how your civilization has grown or evolve. And you read Western fiction, and you read Dostoevsky, you read Tolstoy, and you read Kafka. You realize basically the function of literature. So when you thoughtfully look at the literature and you realize and you understand what literature does. So primarily, what I think literature tries to understand men, and it discusses the existence of men. So now, what is man in literature? And that's what what was the basic question I was dealing with when I was planning to write fiction. So if I am writing about human beings, then what are the external forces that affect human beings, their lives, their thinking, whatever we do in our lives, how that has been affected by external agencies. And those external agencies includes religion, politics, various ideas in our society. At the same time, you can say nationalism, communism, politics of the time. All those external factors, चाहे ना चाहते हुए भी, affects us, affects our thinking, our relationship.
True.
And that's why I think when I write stories of people from Bombay or other cities of India, the political narrative, the dogmas, the religion, the growth of religion, the ugly and beautiful face of religion, all I try to cover, because those factors affect characters and their lives. And we are, as a writer, we are not taking position. So when you are trying to become neutral, you have to analyze how these forces have made that person, whatever that person has become. If that person is a murderer, what has made him a murderer?
True.
If that person is a communal man, what had made him communal? Or if that person is simply stupid and isolated from whatever happening in his society, what has made him that way? So this is an effort to understand people in a given political, socio-political scenario. That is one way I try to understand life around me and how people are living around me in my time. Because I know in the time of Tagore and in the time of Premchand and in the time of Sadhata Manto, they have tried to see how people were living in their time. So I think that even if, for example, whatever Tolstoy was writing, it was about the Russian society and how the Russian society, in that given Russian society, how those people were affected by ideas. Though there is another life of human beings which is very internal, and when we look at Dostoevsky, we realize that whatever happens inside, yes, that is also a life we carry within us, but the external forces also affect our internal lives. And I think that was also, I think I was in that kashmakash, how much my characters, I will write about their internal monologue, and how much I will try to see the external forces, basically religion, education, language, politics and other things affecting them. So ये सब मिलाकर मुझे लगता है कि ये सारा मसाला कहीं ना कहीं तैयार हुआ है.
Sir, after listening to what you just said, I believe that when you would be writing any novel, let's say when you're writing a novel back, let's say 2 years, 3 years back, and when you think from that neutral perspective and then you write that book, you think about that protagonist, how he might be thinking, what his upbringing is, what his religion,
Right.
his gender, his people around are impacting his behavior and decision. And then when you write the book of that protagonist and his life, you might have to go back before the publishing of the book to mellow down it, yes or no?
Yeah.
Because the emotions sometimes might
I
be
got
too
your
high.
point. I got to your point. It's very interesting.
So-
But you know what happened when you are into writing, very seriously you are into writing, then once you brought a protagonist onto paper, then you don't live his life, nor you govern his decisions. The protagonist himself or herself, वो खुद ही इवॉल्व होती चली जाती है, the way she is or he.
I love
You
that.
are completely out of that character, and sometimes you are just shocked what decision this character has taken, how much sadness he has lived for his life, and whatever वो जो भी करेगा, And I mean, I remember in one of my novels, I mean, in Rohzin, and that shocked me. Whenever I was editing those drafts, I was sad and I was crying for that lady who is no more. And she was only fictional character, but even that fictional character made me so sad all the time. Whenever I edited for the 8, 9 draft of the novel, I literally, tears I have seen in my eyes. So कैरेक्टर जो इवॉल्व होते हैं वो फिर आपके हाथ में नहीं होते हैं.
It's out of control.
Yeah,
It just
you
builds
should
up.
never try to control them. You are no one. You are not their god. So they decide their own destiny. You don't. And I think good writers are never in position to dictate terms for their characters. Poor writer can dictate terms to their characters. And we have a lot of poor writers.
Did you ever think that you will become this kind of a writer, or it was the society or situation around you that made you write something like this?
No, since we have a very strong tradition of fiction in Urdu literature for last 100 years, and I have gone through many of those writers, their lives and their works. So मुझे ये तो नहीं पता था कि I will have a lot of praise in Urdu literature. I'll get a position where people like me to offer their books, or जो भी मकाम जिसको हम कहते हैं उर्दू में, वो मैंने कभी नहीं सोचा था. I was simply writing, and I was writing with full passion. And at the beginning, and even now, I do a lot of mistakes while I'm into writing. मुझे लगता है कि but the honesty with which you are writing, those mistakes can be removed by an editor. But एक तो बात मुझे पता थी कि whatever I will write with utmost honesty. मेरी लाइफ में लिटरेचर से ज़्यादा ऐसा कुछ नहीं है जिसके ताल्लुक से मैं समझता हूँ आई नीड टू बी ऑनेस्ट. एंड इफ़ यू आर नॉट ऑनेस्ट विथ लिटरेचर, आई थिंक यू शुड नॉट राइट, because then you will do injustice with writing. So that was one decision from my college days, that whatever I will write with full conviction, and no matter then what will happen. So whatever I have written, this 8 novels and translations from Marathi to Urdu, and 2 books of criticism, one I compiled for Sahitya Akademi, वो काम मैंने दिल से किया है, कुछ भी हासिल करने के लिए.
You just loved doing it.
Yeah, it's simply my love to do that. Because I mean, मेरा वो उर्दू में जैसे हम कहते हैं, मेरी रोजी रोटी नहीं थी. I was doing I was lecturer in a college, or I was doing geopolitics later on. I was working for a think tank, a major think tank in Asia. तो वो मेरा issue नहीं था. So whenever I was writing, I was having time. I said to myself, be honest, and don't cheat yourself, and don't try to influence or affect or create impression on anyone. Just be honest on paper. So that was my only mantra to go with writing. And I think it worked. It has worked for me. I've been very lucky in my age. Now I'm 52. But I think all of my novels have been read widely. And in 3-4 years back, Rekhta publication has done a survey, and it said 5 to 6 authors who have read widely globally on their website, उसमें से मैं एक हूँ. So it's like Shamsur Rahman Farooqi, Allama Iqbal, and 2 others, and then my name. So I got that attention because I think I was lucky, and then I think it's only because I've been always honest towards literature, towards the art of novel, and with fiction in general. So yes, if you're honest and you keep learning, नुकसान तो नहीं होता है. Yeah.
Sir, in this world where English books or published books in English are more of a crucial importance or being read across the world.
Yes.
You are an Urdu writer. You have written all your books, and then they got translated into English, Hindi, Marathi, German, French as well now. You choose still to write in Urdu.
Yeah.
Is this a decision based on an artistic perspective, or you are
No, it is not. It is not on the artistic perspective. Not resistance. Nothing. Simply, you can only write fiction in good fiction in a language or on which you have command. or at least you are, जिस पर आपको दस्तरस है हम कहते हैं, you should know the whole history of vocabulary.
Correct.
For example, if you are writing a word and then this every word has its journey for 1,000 years, 5,000 years. So every word is a long journey, and that mastery comes when you are spending a lot of time on understanding each and every word and its roots. So when you use it, you need that experience on language. So definitely, I mean, मेरा ये इंग्लिश तो काम चलाव है, but उर्दू में मैंने कोशिश की है कि to establish myself with a diction जो मुझे सारे राइटर से अलग करता है, और वो मैं सिर्फ उर्दू में ही कर सकता हूँ.
That's like a signature for you.
Yeah,
Correct.
that's my diction basically, and I can't write in English. I don't know how. I mean,
Because
my
you
English
think-
is just काम चलाओ.
Because you think in other language. Your people, they think in one language and then they speak in one language.
Yeah.
But if you are both are aligned, like if you are thinking in Urdu and if you write, even speaking and writing in Urdu, the flow is quite.
Of course, yeah. I mean, of course, yeah. It's your, I mean, आपके रूह का जो बयान है वो आपकी मदर टंग में ही ज़्यादा पावरफुल होता है. सो मैं जिस तरह से सोचता हूँ अबाउट ह्यूमन लाइफ, वो उर्दू में ही खूबसूरत है. और उर्दू बहुत खूबसूरत है. ये अलग बात है कि उसके पास इतनी बड़ी मार्केट नहीं है जो अंग्रेज़ी के पास है, लेकिन अंग्रेज़ी में कितना ख़राब लिटरेचर लिखा जाता है. और अंग्रेज़ी में तो ख़राब लिटरेचर भी ऐसे बिकता है जैसे पानीपुरी वाले की गाड़ी लगी हुई है.
Sir, when you translate or when your books are getting translated from Urdu as a language, or let me ask in a different way, if any regional language is getting translated into English language, the essence, the emotion, I would say the power of the words or what the author wanted to showcase mellows down, sir.
Definitely. Definitely. You shall never expect translation will do justice with your writing. Never. And not 100% at all. Kabhi 50%, kabhi 60%. If you are a very lucky writer and you got a really good translator, in that case only the maximum impact or influence of your diction, style, vocabulary will be there. Otherwise, simply it's just like a Xerox copy. But even though, whatever the way you think and the way you have developed your story, उससे एक चीज़ तो बनती है. वरना ट्रांसलेशन, आई मीन पोएट्री के मामले में तो इट्स ऑलमोस्ट इम्पॉसिबल टू ट्रांसलेट पोएट्री. इफ यू आर डूइंग कबीर और तुलसीदास और गालिब और मीर, almost impossible. The only they give you a rose without smell.
True.
तो खुशबू का ट्रांसलेशन नहीं हो सकता. It can be
that.
only a rose
I like
without a smell. Same. But in fiction there are possibility because there are various way in which you write fiction. Some stories are very simple. The language is simple. For example, Saadat Salman, and why he has been widely translated and very successful. His translations are because he is a very simple author. But in case of author like Nayyar Masood, and Penguin Random House has published his collection of his short stories in a volume. And it's difficult to, and the Muhammad Umar Memon, one of well-known scholar, has translated those work. But even though if you have gone through his writings in Urdu, you will find कि वो महक नहीं है, सिर्फ फूल है वहाँ पर. तो ये थोड़ा सा होता है, लेकिन इसके बावजूद translations are the only channel through which your writing can go to the other reader, the wider range of readers. And I think that's why translations are very important. And there is one more thing. Suppose now this book has been translated to English, and suppose after 50 years, the other translator may analyze the both Urdu and English, keeping simultaneously on the same desk. And if he realizes that, okay, this translation has not done justice with the original,
Okay.
in that case, there will be another translations.
Is it?
That's why we have 4 or 5 different versions of War and Peace by Tolstoy. So, or Victor Hugo's translations, or many other European writers,
Correct.
their translations in English. Many people have done different translations. I think it's good that you get a translation, और उसमें कोई चीज़ बाकी रहती है तो maybe the next generation will do justice with this.
Okay.
But translations are important, and not only translation important. Translator is also very important. We should give them due respect, give coverage. Their name should be on the main cover of the book, and they should share the royalty.
How is this translator identification, and
Yeah,
then,
that's an issue.
and then finding that yes, this person can do justice. I mean,
Yeah.
is there an exam or is there any qualification criteria? How
No,
does
there
happen?
is work. In literature, or even in fine arts, the only thing is the criteria is your work, whether it's painting, music, or literature. So there are good the good translators, and they have history of translations. And then their translations have got appreciations from various circles of readers and writing community and community of critics. So yes, there is, I mean, of course, I mean, young people can also do justice with translations, but there are really some people who have spent their lifetime in translating. So they know the various aspects of language and colloquial languages and other aspects of language. Maybe.
So, just in the same question around, when does a regional author who has published his book in a regional language, when he or she can understand that, I need to now translate this book into, let's say, English or German or French, when is it that they understand? When they should do it? Or
I think you don't take decision what will be translated.
Okay.
It is the book. किताब की अपनी किस्मत होती है.
So it has its own journey, and
The book has its own journey.
Okay.
And once a book has got attention in your regional language, for example, there is a book in Marathi last year, and it was published some 3 years back. It got Sahitya Akademi Award. Before that, it was translated into English.
Before the award.
Before the award. Even my book was translated before into German before it got the Sahitya Akademi Award.
So basically, you are saying that
It's a journey of book. It's the
translator
praise. No, not trans. First, a book creates an atmosphere of itself. People read it and then they discuss it. अभी तो social media हो गया, but when there was no social media, there were literally journals, newspapers, periodicals, monthly, annual issues, and the readers, basically those who read book, and when they start to talk about a book, that book get attention. And after some masters in every language have some masters, the scholars, those who have spent their lifetime. If they also praise the book, like general readers, the author, the contemporary author, the critics, then this book get very serious attentions towards this, and then you can have translators looking to rights to translate that book, because translator is trying to, if suppose a translator is dreaming to translate or have proposal to translate into German or French or Latin or English, he may be thinking from two perspectives. One is a good book to be translated. Second, it should get a proper publication. So when you are having a regional book, go to the international media, audience, you have to have a wonderful publication, a publisher.
Of that local demography.
That language, European language, or if suppose it is in Japan. So the translator will try to get a good publisher, and then it comes the demand of the market. So there are 3-4 things which plays a role in deciding the future of your regional, the book you have written in regional language, how that will go into the global market.
Wow.
It's a long journey sometimes. Sometimes it's a very quick journey. For like Banu Mushtaq, who got immediately from Kannada, and she got Booker Prize, and then suddenly she's a star. So this is just single book of her which has translated into English. We had that Booker Prize winner, Indian author earlier from Hindi, Gitanjali. Before, it's just a translation, and then the book got Booker Prize, and she's a star at international level. Definitely in Hindi there are many authors of her caliber, but they have not got translations, and nobody knows them. But everybody knows Gitanjali Shri.
True. So you say that a book, in a crux, if I understand, it's like a living entity. It starts to create its own story. It evolves, and then it starts to find its own audience.
Exactly.
It's like a living entity.
Exactly. Exactly यही होता है सारी अच्छी किताबों के साथ. sometimes even if writer has passed away, after that the book starts its own journey. Even you don't need to be there for book to go ahead. For example, Kafka. All his writing has come into mainstream or in publication after his death.
True.
Or a poet in Urdu, Shakib Jalali, he committed suicide at the age of 32, 33. And after that, his work, his a single poetry collection has got tremendous attention. So even sometimes you, as a creator of that book, not necessary to be there to see the future of that book. So book has its own future, own life, as you say, its own entity. It is something. It will grow itself like a tree.
Yeah.
So yes, I do believe. That's why I said किताब की अपनी किस्मत होती है.
That's so powerful.
And sometimes किताब की किस्मत आपकी किस्मत से बहुत अलग हो सकती है.
Exactly.
Yeah, and we have seen like Kabir died without knowing what will happen to him, or his lyrics, or his दोहा. But now पूरा हिंदुस्तानी साहित्य उसके बगैर अधूरा है.
So nice. I mean,
Yeah.
When you think in that perspective, then you start taking them seriously. That
Of
these
course
are
it
living
is.
entities.
Literature is a serious business.
Yeah.
क्योंकि उसकी जिंदगी आप नहीं तय कर सकते. किसी को नहीं पता था कि गालिब लिखेगा मुगलिया पीरियड में, मर जाएगा, एंड गुलजार साहब विल कम एंड मेक अ सीरियल ऑन हिज लाइफ एंड हिज वर्सेस. Nobody knows. When Mahabharata was written, nobody was aware what will happen after 6,000-7,000 years after with that text. And that's one of the greatest texts now we realize, or we understand, or we enjoy that way. So, किताब का future writer तय नहीं कर सकता. But sometimes book can decide the future of author. It's more powerful than the author itself.
It's very powerful.
Yeah, and we have seen this. Yeah, we have seen this.
Mr. Rahman, fiction writing or fiction books have always been said that they are a reflection of society.
Yeah.
But my question now is, are they only a reflection of society, or they have the power to transform the world as well?
Look, first, books are reflecting society, no doubt about that. But they are not only a reflection of the society. Books are, books of fiction or basically novels, they are really very complex phenomena.
Mm-hmm.
And it is more sometimes existential awakening, you can say. So the main subject of fiction is human existence. And now whatever affect that existence, society, politics, history, the human existence, if it is the central motif of novels, then everything which affects the human existence can be reflected in literature.
Okay.
But now, and as far as your question is that how societies can be transformed by literature, I think that's very complicated questions. Because any given society and the changes in the society are not fundamentally driven by the books, but there are many other factors. The political ideologies, the social movements, the literacy level, and definitely books on various topics, economics, philosophy. So, but if you know, whoever has brought any change in any society, whether it is French Revolution or Russian Revolution or revolution in many other countries, there have been individuals, there have been leaders like Gandhi, like Nelson Mandela. And how these people have come? They have not grown up like trees. They have been into a particular education system. They have read literature. They have read books of history, culture, civilizational studies. So the great minds who changed the world, be it in science, medicines, philosophy, history, or in technology. So their journey to reach to the pinnacle is basically their journey of starting to read something.
Correct.
So reading is a fundamental for changes into society. So yes, no matter what you read, but fundamentally the act of reading and educating yourself is ultimately going to change the society and play a role to upgrade a society. Okay. So in that way you will see, yes, literature is also playing a role, though it is not visible directly as a player in changing society.
Okay. And how does fiction helps into this?
Fiction basically, you cannot separate fiction from
Non-fiction.
reading
or anything,
ultimate
yeah.
things.
Okay.
Fiction is a sort of reading like non-fiction or the historical narrative. Fiction also prepare you. I mean, it prepares you for society. It let you know what life you are living in, what kind of society and what this society is. So when you understand that society, you decide what is your position in the society.
Correct.
So very very much at the individual level there are transformations from reading books. But definitely I was after reading 100 Love in the Times of Cholera and 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez, I am not the same person who I was before reading that book. Or after reading Metamorphosis by Kafka, I am not the same person who had not read that book. So yes, literature at the very, very fundamental level, it changes you, it prepares you for bigger challenges to understand human beings.
Okay. And you say that they also give you different perspective on what stage of life you are.
Yeah, they make you realize basically who the hell you are on this planet and what the hell this planet is.
True.
And what is the past and the future of this planet is, if there is any future of this planet. So आदमी को जो समझने का सफर है, that journey is the journey of literature, but that at the same time that journey is the journey of the whole humanity and this planet.
Correct.
So fiction is not confined with book only. It is about society. It is about this planet. It is about mankind. It is about our past as the species, and also it is about our future. So कहीं ना कहीं जाके you will find literature has relationship with past, present, and future in all tenses, because it is related to human life, our journey on this planet, and our possible future on this planet. So तीनों युगों में हम रहते हैं साहित्य के सफर में. And I think that's make us a richer human being.
So if I ask you about something self-reflection, that what would you advise the younger Rahman if you could go back in time? What would you advise the younger Rahman Abbas? What would you say?
To repeat the same mistakes. You are not isolated. You don't change your past. You have to accept your past, and whatever you have done into past, you are not going back to correct them. You own it. मान लेने का कि हाँ, that was my life, this was me, no changes required. If I am today, I am only because the mistakes I have made in the past. So I don't want to be much better person than the becoming an artificial person. I should be honest with myself, my present, and my past.
True.
Nothing there to correct or verify. Just accept you. Yeah, okay, तू ऐसा था, तू खत्म हो गई बात.
I remember this statement by one of the person I have met. She said, failure, when you do some mistakes, is simply falling forward.
Yeah, in a way, yes.
You fall forward, that means you are moving ahead in your life. You never fall backward. Very rarely you fall backward when you trip.
Yeah.
So it's a learning. I completely resonate with what you just say.
Yeah. But there are other things. What man has learned in its journey of 10 to 15,000 years? Nothing.
Why do you say that?
Man has not learned anything from Mahabharata, man has not learned anything from Auschwitz, concentration camps, First World War, Second World Wars, fall of Berlin Wall, then man has learned what? If you see the history of man on this planet, there is only one history that man doesn't learn. हमने महाभारत से कुछ नहीं सीखा.
That's a good
We are doing same mistakes. We are killing each other in the name of land, जो किसी की नहीं होती है, कभी नहीं होती है.
Very well said, sir.
That's why literature is important. From Mahabharata to contemporary literature, all the literature is trying to understand the fallacy of man, the decline of human spirit. और अभी भी वो कंटिन्यू सिलसिला जारी है. We all are just doing what our ancestors had done.
The mistakes are repeating.
The mistakes, the killing each other, bloodshed. पावर गेम, पॉलिटिक्स, चीटिंग, हेट, सब महाभारत में है। और इसीलिए महाभारत को लिखते हुए उन ऋषि ने कहा था, उनका नाम मेरे जहन में नहीं है, कि जो यहाँ नहीं है वो कहीं नहीं है, और ऐसा कोई कैरेक्टर नहीं है जो महाभारत में नहीं है। सो इतना बड़ा ग्रंथ है, इतना बड़ा साहित्य है, लेकिन सीखा क्या हमने? सीखा कुछ नहीं है। एंड मैन एक ऐसा जानवर है जो बेसिकली सीखता नहीं है, फ्रॉड करता है, चीट करता है, धोखा देता है, झूठ बोलता है, और इन सब में भी शान से जीने के लिए अपने आप को सिविलाइज्ड बोलता है। ये सारा बेसिकली सिविलाइज्ड होना आदमी का पर्दा है। उस पर्दे में उसका जो बीस्ट रूप है, जिसमें वो दूसरे की प्रॉपर्टी को ग्रैब करना चाहता है, दूसरे की नेशनैलिटी को, दूसरे की रिलीजियस सेक्चुअल आइडेंटिटी को सबवर्ट करना चाहता है, डिस्ट्रॉय करना चाहता है, उन सारी चीज़ों को छुपाने के लिए मैन ट्राइज टू कॉल हिमसेल्फ सिविलाइज्ड। इट्स जस्ट अ बुर्का, अ बैड बुर्का। And I don't believe man has learned anything. That's why we come to this topic. When you said that the mistakes of past are learning, what learning as species, as human being on this planet? You may learn all small things. Okay, एक बैंक में अकाउंट खोला था, वहाँ पैसा डूब गया, दूसरी बैंक में खोलोगे, और एक जगह अपने काम किया, वहाँ पे नौकरी अच्छी नहीं थी, तो you could. These are very small learning. These are not learning at all. What you learn as a person on this planet? What is your journey as a human being? Whatever mistakes Europe has committed in 1938 to 1940 and after the World War II, the same mistakes Asia is doing in 2024, 5, 6. What we learn as human species collectively, country wise, कहाँ है हमारा इंटेलेक्ट? हम अगर सारे जानवरों में से सबसे अच्छे जानवर अपने आप को कहते हैं, तो हम सबसे ज़्यादा ब्लडशेड करते हैं। शायद दूसरे जानवर एक दूसरे को इतना खाते नहीं हैं, चबाते नहीं हैं, उससे ज़्यादा वहशत हमारे अंदर है, ह्यूमन बींग्स में है। हम अपने जैसे इंसानों के बच्चों को जलाते हैं, हम उनका रेप करते हैं, हम उनके घरों पर बुलडोज़र चलाते हैं। दूसरे एनिमल शायद हमसे ज़्यादा पीसफुल हैं, सिवाय भूख के वो और किसी को नहीं खाते।
सर, टॉकिंग अबाउट योर साहित्य अकेडमी अवार्ड एंड द बुक दैट gave this reputation to you. You yourself said the book gives you everything in your life.
Right.
So the book, which is Rohzin, which is right with us over here, and it gave you the reputation. Tell us about this book.
Yeah. This is my 4th novel, basically. And if you know the recent history of Bombay, it was 2005-06, heavy rain. Bombay was inundated. Rain, 3 days, 3 nights, and there was massive flood. Off record, on the record, there are around 2,500 people who have died in this rain flood. And I was stuck in that rain. I was coming back from college, and it was around 2 o'clock, and all trains were stopped, all transportations were stopped, and my wife was on the other side of Bombay. I was on the western suburb. No communication, all communication devices were dead, and life was standstill. And I was walking for around 30 kilometers, and when I reached at home, it was around 2 o'clock in the night, and I had troubled water till my I was half drawn into the water. And that night when I reached my home, I had a bottle of beer, and there was no electricity, and I was sitting at my window, and I was seeing this hail rain, and everybody was disturbed. And then I realized this novel, कि अगर शहर पूरा डूब जाएगा तो क्या होगा, and but after some times, those days we passed, and we read a lot about what mistakes government has done, कहाँ से कितना पानी release हुआ था, where was the cloud burst had happened, what were the factors at the sea level, and all these things. Those were the technical details. But then, when I write fiction, I try to bring a love story into it. You cannot. For me, fiction, ki jo backbone hai, that's a love story. That's how a man and women try to live with each other, to fall in love, or whatever happens between a man and a woman or whatever it. तो that was a love story. So वो उस बारिश के उन दिनों में एक कपल जिसका पहले सफ़े पर ही वर्णन हो जाता है कि दिस वाज द लास्ट डे ऑफ असरार और हिना की लाइफ का. And in the first paragraph of novel, you are told that this couple has died in the first line of the novel. And then the whole story starts about who is this Asrar, who is this Hina, how they come into Bombay, and then their parents and their history. And it goes to the 50 years of Bombay history, various incidents in Bombay, bomb blast, terrorist attack, communal violence, everything which Bombay has witnessed in last 40 to 50 years. And then we again go back to Hina's and Asrar's love, and how they, on that day, they went to the seashore, and when they try to impress each other, or they try to make love to each other, at the same time, this heavy waves fall on them, and they drown in the Arabian Sea. So in this, while narrating this love story, then there are the different worlds, different characters who are their friends, relatives, families, and all those issues. But primarily, if you go through the book, it's a love story, and that was to witness that 3 days of rain in Bombay of 2005. So yes, that because I have been through in that flood, and I know what flood is in Bombay, because I have lived in different areas of Bombay, and I know what happens when there are heavy waters, gutters are overflowed, and people are suffering. In slum areas, there is life has turned into hell. So I have gone through all those things. So when I started to basically to see the structure of this story, all those things of Bombay and Mumbai Devi, definitely the goddess of Mumbai Devi, and how I can connect Mumbai Devi with this is coming from our Indian mythology, the Marathi mythology, Maharashtrian mythology, and how I connect it with the Muslim theological characters, or there is no mythology but theological understanding of from various sects. And then I connect with Inki, which is the ancient goddess of Bahrain, and this all. Then it goes to little bit metafiction and surrealism as far as techniques are used, and little bit बहुत सारी दूसरी चीज़ें होती हैं जो कहानी को नरेट करते हुए राइटर्स इस्तेमाल करता है. सो आई थिंक शायद ये सब जब इस नावल में थोड़ा सा मिल गया, थोड़ी सी मोहब्बत, थोड़ा सा शहर, और थोड़ी सी बेवफाई, एंड थोड़ा सा सेटानिज़म, और वो सब हो गया, तो आई थिंक बहुत सारे लोगों ने नावल को अप्रिशिएट किया.
And sir, I completely agree when you said that. And I disagree to the people who say, I am a self-made man or woman. There's nothing self-made. There are these kind of factors which are affecting your life journey. How you were mentioning that there is this mythological character. There is also your family background. There is also how you were raised, what kind of circle you had.
Right.
Plus the people who came in your circle and influenced your overall decision. Plus the powerful force which governs that region, like how in your case in this book you have mentioned about Mumbai Devi and then connection with other goddess. These all factors relates to your overall journey, and might be that is the reason people appreciated it, because it connects to the overall holistic perspective of a person's life journey.
You can say holistic, I'll say it's a naked expression of life. I think you try to see the reality in its more pure and naked form in novel, for me. So the truth of Bombay, the truth of these characters, Hina Asrar, the truth about their mother and father, and the betrayal between their parents, their relationship, and the mythology which is also exposing the great betrayal. The greatest betrayal is the betrayal of Iblis to the God, to the Allah. So now Allah and Iblis and their relationship, we have always understood it from the point of view of Allah. Or it is, I mean, if you understand it from the perspective of Bible. So even the perspective of Bible or Quran or Torah, that is the perspective of God, and we have no perspective of Iblis. He has not told his story, his side of a story. So in this novel, I have brought the perspective of Iblis. So if you have to understand betrayal, first you have to understand this great betrayal between Iblis and God.
Okay.
Then we have betrayal in our relationship. So the central character of novel, Asrar Rina, their parents, they have betrayed. Now, if your parents have betrayed each other, how you are going to be affected. And that is also the story of these characters.
Correct.
And when you have a doubt or suspicion that your mother or father having affair, or if you are very unfortunate child and you have witnessed your mother or father sleeping with someone, how that psychologically going to affect your life. But it is their betrayal.
Correct.
But if you want to understand betrayal of your parents, you have to understand the first betrayal, the betrayal between Iblis and God, and not from the perspective of God, from the perspective of Iblis. Then you may be in position to understand what is love when you understand what is betrayal.
Sir, this concept, some people say it's not love. It's they gave a term to it called as forbidden love. Why is the society not comfortable with reading or understanding this side of love as well? What do you think?
When I speak about love, I mean your love to understand yourself. When I speak about love, I mean your journey to understand your soul, your spirit. What is difference between your soul and spirit? So for me, love is a very, it may be forbidden for a kind of people who are coming from different backgrounds, because whatever notion you carry has a background and has a history of that ideological background. But for me, there is nothing forbidden. For me, you betray in different phases of your life, and you betray differently. As in your different stages of life, you love, and then again you love differently. Neither you love one person, nor you betray only one person. This is a whole journey. And it has its stages, and the stages of your own growth, of your mental strength, and your physical growth, and your emotional growth. And all those stages, you need different kind of people, either to love or betray.
So that
And that's a journey.
So that they make you strong for something which is.
I don't know whether it makes you strong or weaker, but this is what you are. The men and women, what throughout their life they do, they either love or they hate, or they love or they betray. The stories, all other things are just side की चीजें हैं. But primarily आपकी जिंदगी में क्या होता है? You love, you hate, or you betray, and then you again love someone.
True.
Nobody stop loving,
Exactly.
as nobody stop betraying. So उस नॉवेल में एक एस्पेक्ट ये भी है to understand कि what are the possibilities of human existence when it comes to discuss betrayal or cheating. But cheating and betrayal are not that easy words to tag anyone. They are very complex phenomena, and every life has a different sense to it, a different meaning to it. आसानी से हम किसी को बेवफा नहीं कह सकते.
True.
Yeah.
Unless you know their story.
Maybe, yeah.
True.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember someone
But
saying.
there is one interesting thing is that on different stages of your life, your story keep changing. I mean, फिर आपको when you look back, then you have different interpretation to the same thing happen to your life.
Exactly.
Whether it was love or betrayal, you shed it differently. You see it into a different light.
Correct.
So I think you have always justification for everything.
True.
Like people have justification for anything else.
True. And betrayal for you might not be betrayal for me.
Exactly, yeah.
Because our perspectives are different.
Yeah.
And there is nothing good or bad. Someone very rightly
Yeah.
said. It's just
It's
a
beyond good
perspective.
and bad. It's beyond good and
I mean, there's nothing black or white in this world.
yeah.
It's always
Until you
grey.
don't harm basically someone.
Hmm.
But if you're harming someone's emotions, then I think you have to introspect. But betrayal comes with hurting someone. But there are costs in life that you have to do that. You have to come out of. Suppose you are in a very toxic relationship, or you're in a wrong relationship, or you are with a person and you realize, okay, you are not right person for this person. Because person is not always the same person. Person keep changing. और वो इतना बदल गया है कि तुम्हें लगता है कि no, your life is completely waste with this person, and then you have to leave that person. And that living may be tagged by that person as betrayal.
Very true.
So it's very complex things to understand. I think there should be a mutual understanding, and people should agree to leave each other at certain period of time in their lives. People shall not stick to each other like chewing gum all the time. No.
But it's a taboo, sir.
There are many things are taboo. But you have to, I mean, there are history. I mean, 200 years ago, the same taboos were in Europe for marriage, for many other things. They have come out of it. Now, divorce and marriage are very personal issues. Nobody cares about it, whether you are married or you have divorce. It's very personal things. I mean, in our country, these things are taboo, but we have to come out of these taboos if these things are taboos.
Sir, a Sahitya Akademi Award-winning book. What would be your 3 rules that you would recommend someone before writing a fiction?
I think you should see the world around you. You should read whatever has been written in your language.
Okay.
And you should try to write completely different than the contemporary authors or the senior authors of your language have written. And you read the world literature.
Okay.
From different languages, from different cultural backgrounds, different linguistic backgrounds. Then you will learn the artistic things, the techniques of narratives, and then you will know the history of your language, because you immediately cannot go and write into other languages' history. For example, if you are an Indian novelist, you cannot start writing like a French novelist,
Okay.
or like a Colombian novelist, or like a Sri Lankan novelist. The literature has its own history, and in that given history of a language, you evolve.
Okay.
Whatever rubbish had happened in India in last 50 years, post-communal era, is that everybody was trying to become a writer like James Joyce. You are not. Your language is not ready for that. Your history is not ready for that. You cannot copy a Western narrative technique. That has to evolve within the framework of your language, because to evolving into your language means that the brain of that language has its own journey.
True.
You cannot shock the history of your language. You have to fit within your the tradition of your language. So in the name of modernism, there are a lot of rubbish writing has gone into Urdu. Even in Urdu, I mean, when Shamsur Rahman Farooqi pushed forward deliberately this movement in the name of modernism just to condemn or to write differently than Sadadas and Manto and Krishna Chandra and Ismat Chughtai, they plan to write into formless narrative where characters cannot be identified with India or Indian cities or their attires or their culture. They try to devoid literature from every possible identity just to copy the European or the American ideas about the modernism, the postmodernism. But Indian society was never a postmodern society. Indian society is still such a traditional, orthodox, Puritan society. A society which has not evolved. I mean, for their architecture, their painting, their music. And music and paintings are definitely tremendously we have done. But I mean, for example, fiction is not, it has not evolved that way within the modern novel, I mean, in that way. And then immediately we try to copy Westerners. And I think that has affected a lot of Hindi and Urdu literature and maybe other languages also. So in my generation, I started to write. We try to connect with our country, our ethos, our civilization, our cultural identities, our cultural nonsense, many things. So never come under influence of how others looking at literature. You see how you will look at literature and what changes you will make in given history of your language. सो आई थिंक हम बात कर रहे थे, वो आपने 3 चीज़ें पूछी थी, लेकिन शायद मेरे ज़्यादा चीज़ें आ गई. लेकिन ये लगता है दिस इज़ अ वेरी सीरियस गेम. Just don't go for 2-3 things, but evolve in your language, evolve beautifully in the history of your language, learn the mastery over constructing sentences, read a lot so your vocabulary will be at the peak of it, and feel yourself you are a very responsible citizen of this planet, not a country.
Adding to this same, what should be the personality traits? What should be my personality if I want to become a fictional writer? Like, for example,
You should be writer.
mentioned that you should
The
have courage.
trait, the characteristics of a writer is only to be a writer. राइटर जो होता है, मेरा बहुत ही सिंपल सा की अंडरस्टैंडिंग है, राइटर हैज़ नो नेशनैलिटी, राइटर हैज़ नो रिलीजन,
Okay.
हाँ, एंड राइटर हैज़ नो लैंग्वेज. You are born in a language. You're born in a family which has a religion. You're born in a country. You have to respect your country, your faith system, your language, but you are not confined to it. You are a global citizen.
I like that term.
आपका घर पूरी दुनिया है, पूरी दुनिया के लोग आपके भाई आपके बहनें हैं. You are feeling their pain, you are laughing with them. You are there. You belong to the whole planet of all cultures. All cultures, all languages, all faiths are your faith. They are your languages. Because you writing, that's exactly what writers are.
Okay.
That's why writers suffers in their country sometimes. For example, Orhan Pamuk in Turkey, Manto in India, other writers, Milan Kundera in Czech Republic, writers in America, Isra Pond or James Joyce. So yes, writers, when they take this position, they have also suffered in a faith system, country, language. Sometimes they speak, and to speaking about humanity is a crime in your country. But that will not stop writer, because writer is not a representative of a country or a political system or a religion or a language. He will speak for the humanity. And I think that is what makes a writer writer. और writer के अंदर यही होना चाहिए, वो अपने आप को पूरे planet का से connected समझे.
True.
Yeah.
Then actually you can make sense to the whole world.
That's our tradition. I mean, if you Tagore, Premchand, Kabir, तुलसीदास, ये सब किसी के नहीं है, पूरी दुनिया के हैं.
True.
सारे संसार के हैं. ये भाषाओं की जो बेड़ियां हैं उनको, और भाषाओं की जो एस्थेटिक्स हैं उनसे भी निकल कर जाते हैं और पूरे संसार में पढ़े जाते हैं.
Exactly.
That's exactly. You read Milton or other writers from Europe, or Socrates. So the global village kind of things, you can say, writing पूरी दुनिया की एक है. वो philosophy हो, literature हो या poetry हो, उसको उसके ऊपर कोई प्रतिबंध नहीं होता है. You cannot say this writer is only Indian writer, उसको सिर्फ Indians पढ़ेंगे, और this writer is पाकिस्तानी writers, उसको पाकिस्तानी पढ़े. नहीं है. जैसे म्यूजिक बजेगा तो सबके कानों में उसका सुर घुलेगा, वैसे ही साहित्य का है. Yeah.
Sir, let me move to the rapid fire round question, where
Okay.
whatever comes first in your mind, you just answer it.
Okay.
Which is the favorite book of yours apart from your own book? One.
Love in the Times of Cholera by Gabriel Garcia Marquez.
Okay. One habit that you want to change in yourself?
To love, to fall in love, to love again, to love and think no, love again.
So what is this one daily ritual that you never miss?
Reading.
Complete this statement. A writer's purpose is.
Serve humanity.
Thank you so much, sir,
You're welcome.
for this, enlightening
Achha.
introduction about literature, especially fiction literature. And today, I must say, you motivated me
Okay.
to look at fiction, to
Good.
start writing fiction,
Good,
to
yeah.
start reading fiction
Yeah.
again. And I feel this is something which today's generation need, where the focus or the attention span is less than 30 seconds to 1 minute. Today we need people who will sit down in one room and with a coffee and keep reading, and
Sure,
they
yeah.
become, as you rightly said, a global citizen.
Yeah.
We need people to become global citizen to create a better world, to not
Exactly.
repeat the mistakes.
At least
that-
we have that dream, you know. We have this dream that there will be no war. We have this dream that there will be no difference between black and white. We have this dream that there will be no killing of people who have different sexual preferences. We believe in all freedoms,
True.
and we should respect individual and personal freedom. So yeah, that's
I'm
possible.
deeply motivated by this, and I believe that even if this discussion, motivates one person in the world, this podcast will serve its purpose.
Oh yeah, the one person is already you, as you said, that you are motivated. I mean, that's good. I think I'm really happy to talk to you, and I hope, this will grow. Your audience will grow, and people will listen, and they will also read, because yeah, India is reading hub. There are a lot of people in India reading literature.
True, true.
Yeah, via Hindi, via English, yes, and yes.
Done. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching this whole video, and I agree that what Mr. Rahman was mentioning about becoming a global citizen altogether. Let me know your views on the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe this channel. Share it with your family, your friends, and let's meet again with a new author with a new perspective. Until then, stay safe, take care of yourself, and be happy. Thank you so much.